Out our shirt on Teespring.
Hold on to your popcorn, America, because Donald Trump is back. And this time he's brought tariffs to Tinseltown. In a move that could only be described as peak Trump, the president took to his favorite social media platform to announce a 100% tariff on all foreign films. Yes, you heard that right. 100%. Trump, never one to shy away from a dramatic flourish, declared the American film industry dead on its feet thanks to those sneaky foreign competitors. He painted a picture of American jobs vanishing faster than a studio executive's morals after a bad box office weekend. His solution? A good old-fashioned trade war, naturally. This is not a drill, people. The man who once hosted The Apprentice now wants to play judge, jury, and executioner of the entire global film industry. Someone get Meryl Streep on the phone, because we are officially living in a dystopian political satire. This isn't just about movies, though. It's about Trump's desperate need for attention and his uncanny ability to hijack the news cycle with his signature brand of chaos. So buckle up, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. It's no secret that Hollywood isn't quite the bustling dream factory it once was. Production in Los Angeles, the heart of the American film industry, has been on a steady decline. Film LA, the organization responsible for permitting film shoots in the city, reported a staggering 30% drop in filming over the past year alone. Why are studios abandoning Hollywood? The answer, in a word, is money. Countries like Canada, the UK, and Australia have been rolling out the red carpet, and by red carpet we mean tax breaks, for Hollywood productions. These incentives, combined with lower labor costs, have made filming abroad a much more attractive proposition for studios looking to stretch their budgets. The result? American jobs, from carpenters to costume designers, are drying up like a California raisin in the desert sun. Studios are opting for the exotic locales of Vancouver and London over the familiar backlots of Hollywood. Trump, with his keen understanding of the complexities of the global film industry, we're kidding of course, sees this decline as a personal affront. Never mind that it's a result of decades of economic shifts and evolving industry practices. No, in Trump's world there's always a villain, and this time it's those pesky foreigners and their irresistible tax incentives. Trump's logic, if you can call it that, goes something like this. Foreign films are cheaper to make because of those dastardly government subsidies. These cheap foreign films are stealing American jobs and killing the American film industry. Therefore, by slapping a hefty tariff on foreign films, we can level the playing field and bring those Hollywood jobs back home. Sounds simple, right? Well, so does performing brain surgery on yourself using a rusty spoon, but we wouldn't recommend trying either. Trump's tariff plan is riddled with holes bigger than the plot of a Fast and Furious sequel. First, it assumes that price is the only factor driving studios to film abroad. It ignores the fact that many countries offer world-class crews, state-of-the-art facilities, and diverse locations that simply can't be replicated in the United States. Second, it overlooks the potential for retaliation. What's to stop other countries from slapping their own tariffs on American goods and services? We could end up in a full-blown trade war with everyone losing. But hey, who needs nuance and careful consideration when you can just slap a tariff on it, right? That's the Trump way. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Trump actually tries to follow through with this harebrained scheme. He's going to run into a few roadblocks, namely the pesky little thing called the law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEPA. The legal instrument Trump might try to invoke has a convenient little exemption for informational materials. You know what falls under that category? Movies. Oops. Then there's Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which allows the president to impose tariffs on national security grounds. Yes, because those French art house films pose a grave threat to the American way of life. Even if Trump somehow manages to overcome the legal hurdles, he'll face a logistical nightmare. How do you even begin to determine the value of a film for tariff purposes? Do you base it on budget, box office gross, artistic merit? And how do you enforce tariffs on films that are distributed digitally? Does Netflix suddenly become as expensive as a college education? The whole thing is a logistical and legal quagmire. But then again, that's never stopped Trump before. Section 5. Hollywood shrieks, the world stares. The reaction from Hollywood to Trump's tariff tantrum has been a mix of bewilderment, amusement, and outright panic. Studio executives are tearing their hair out, what's left of it anyway, fearing a catastrophic increase in production costs. Actors, directors, and writers are taking to Twitter to voice their outrage, using words that would make a sailor blush. The international community, meanwhile, is watching with a mixture of amusement and concern. Countries that rely heavily on film production are scrambling to protect their industries. The UK, Canada, and Australia have all issued statements expressing their disappointment and vowing to retaliate. China, never one to miss an opportunity to poke the eagle, has already announced plans to reduce its quota of American films, citing previous US tariffs as justification. It seems the trade war Trump started a few years ago is about to get a whole lot more interesting. Section 6, a tax break, not a trade war. Here's a thought. Instead of starting a global trade war over movies, why not try something a little more, shall we say, sane? Experts have been suggesting alternative solutions for years, but Trump, with his trademark disregard for expert opinion, has chosen to ignore them. One such solution is to offer tax incentives and credits to encourage domestic filming. It's a strategy that's worked wonders for other countries, so why not give it a shot here? Instead of punishing foreign film industries, why not try to make the American film industry more competitive? But that would require nuanced compromise and a willingness to listen to experts. And we all know those are not exactly qualities associated with Donald J. Trump. Section 7 are tweeting tariffs, governing by gut. Trump's tariff tantrum is just the latest example of his impulsive, erratic, and often downright dangerous approach to governing. It's a style that's defined his entire political career, from his early days as a reality TV star to his tumultuous 4 years in the White House. Trump has always been a master of using social media to manipulate the news cycle and control the narrative. His announcement of the film tariffs is a classic example of this strategy in action. He knows that by making outrageous statements, he can dominate the headlines and distract from his administration's many scandals and failures. Governing by gut feeling and Twitter pronouncements may play well with his base, but it's a recipe for disaster on the world stage. The global economy is not a reality TV show, and the consequences of Trump's actions are real. Section 8. Alcatraz for Avatar. In a move that surprised absolutely no one, Trump's announcement of the film tariffs came bundled with another equally bizarre policy proposal, the reopening of Alcatraz prison. Yes, you read that right. The infamous island penitentiary, once home to some of America's most notorious criminals, is making a comeback. While the White House has yet to release details about the Alcatraz plan, it's not hard to imagine what Trump has in mind. Will it be used to house illegal immigrants, political opponents, Hollywood elites who refuse to make patriotic films about American heroes? The possibilities are as endless as they are terrifying. One thing's for sure, in Trump's America, truth is stranger than fiction. Section 9, the final cut, a comedy or a tragedy. Trump's tariff tantrum is a fitting coda to his chaotic political career. It's a story filled with absurdity, incompetence, and a healthy dose of malice. But is it a comedy or a tragedy? The answer, unfortunately, is probably a bit of both. On the one hand, it's hard not to laugh at the sheer absurdity of it all. The idea of Donald Trump, a man who once ran a casino into the ground, trying to dictate the terms of global trade, is almost too ridiculous to believe. If it weren't so potentially damaging, it would be hilarious. On the other hand, the consequences of Trump's actions are all too real. His tariffs are already hurting American businesses and consumers. His rhetoric is dividing the country and undermining democratic institutions, and his foreign policy is alienating allies and emboldening adversaries. The final cut of the Trump presidency is still being written, but one thing is certain. It will be a film we won't soon forget, even if we want to.